Nothing happens in the world by chance. Even when the Torah writes two different stories, subjects together, the fact that they're connected has a meaning. It's not by chance. And in this particular reading, which is called Matos, which means sticks, we find two subjects that apparently have absolutely no connection, and still they are connected, and we have to find meaning in that. The Torah says that Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, has to gather an amount of people to fight the revenge of God against the people of Midian, an ancient nation. That's subject number one. After that, continues the Torah saying, then you will pass away. That's going to be your time. So we have to understand, what's the connection of God taking revenge against Midian through the Jewish people, Moshe Rabbeinu, the army, and so on, and the passing away of Moshe Rabbeinu? What's the connection over here? And the idea is like this. Every single nation that exists in the world represents a quality, an attribute in a person. In other words, we know that the Torah talks about 70 nations. Each one of these nations represent one of the 7 emotional attributes, which is each one of them comprised of 10 levels. So 10 times 7, 70 nations. And again, each nation incarnates, so to speak, represents one of those attributes. And each one of us, Jews and non-Jews, have inside of us these 70 nations. That means 70 things, 70 attributes inside of us that we have to work with when we come to life. And we are alive, actually, and the amount of time given to us is exactly what is needed to refine these aspects of our lives. Since there is such a thing as Gilgul, reincarnation, so some people already work with something, and so you come already from factory with some advantages. But anyway, if you are alive, it's because you have to things that you have to work with within yourself. Now, this thing that is within yourselves expresses in the way you live, in the place you live in the world, and how you live. That means how you get your sustenance. You work with people, not always Jews, not always non-Jews. It depends on many things. But the point is that the place where you live in the world, that expresses the things you came to this life to refine, to work with yourself. In the case of Moshe Rabbeinu, his life, so to speak, was Midian. What does it mean, Midian? First of all, he got married with a Midianite, Tzipporah, his wife. But the main idea over here, the word Midian has many explanations, comes from the word din, which means law. Moshe Rabbeinu was a man of law. He had to work with law. That's one idea. Midian also means madun, that means fights. Moshe Rabbeinu had to fight within himself, with the people around him, in order to give over the Torah in the proper way, and so on. He had to fight with himself not to get angry. So had many things, Moshe Rabbeinu, that he had to actually refine and work with and improve. So that's why the Torah says that as soon as Moshe Rabbeinu finished, so to speak, this revenge of God against the nation of Midian, then you will pass away. And this is a teaching, a lesson for each one of us. We have to know we came to life, and we are alive because we have things to do. We have a work, so to speak, that God is expecting of us to do. And as soon as we finish that work, that's it. We go to the next life, so to speak, to the next level, next stage. But the main point over here is wherever you are found, whatever challenges you find around yourself, whatever challenges you find within yourself, that's the reason why you actually live. So don't be afraid of developing yourself. Don't be afraid of working with yourself, because that's why you're alive, actually. And the place where you live, that expresses actually the nation where you live, the language you talk, the culture you have, and so on. That's exactly what expresses the things you have to work on within yourself.